Hello, I'm Darren the Magic Ghostbuster. If you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe and check out all my Ghostbusters themed magic videos. So in this video, this is basically an update to a video I did previously comparing the Eaglemoss Hero Collector Ecto 1 to the Blitzway Ecto 1, the two largest versions of the Ecto 1 available if you exclude inflatables and obviously real cars. Now, in the previous video, which I'm going to put a link in the description in case you haven't seen it, I'd reached stage 42 of the Eaglemoss Hero Collector version, so I'm comparing everything from stage 1 to 42 to the Blitzway in that video. This video is from 42 onwards. I've just finished stage 70. There's 141 stages in total, so half a stage away from the halfway point. And I thought this is a good time to do a little update. Now, a couple of things I just want to say quickly. Not taking modifications into account here, this video is comparing how they come from the factory once we've obviously put them together. There's been some incredible modifications for the Blitzway and the Eaglemoss Hero Collector version. I don't think it's fair to take those into consideration because we are basically comparing how they're sold to us without adding stuff on. One other thing I want to say, this subject comes up on Facebook groups occasionally and thinks it really nasty because someone can't seem to handle the fact that someone will prefer the Blitzway or someone will prefer the Eaglemoss Hero Collector version. They are both fantastic models. They both have their plus points and their minus points. And basically, if you disagree with someone because they prefer a different one to you, there's no need to get nasty about it. We're all different, we all have different opinions, and that is completely fine. So anyway, with that being said, let's take a look. Okay, so first up is just a little size comparison really. I did compare the size in the previous video, but obviously now that we've got more bulk to the Eaglemoss, now we can get a better idea of how they compare in size. And for anyone who doesn't have either of these, or doesn't intend to, I've put a Playmobil Ecto next to them, just so you can see how big they actually are in comparison. And as you can see, they are both very big models of the Ecto 1. Obviously the Blitzway does dwarf over both of them. That is a real beast. So something I did touch on in the previous video is the bodywork. Obviously the bodywork looks better on the Eaglemoss version because it's metal. The Blitzway is plastic, and this hasn't been attached yet, so I don't know how well this is actually going to show up on the camera. But the metal just does look a little bit nicer. Not that the plastic looks bad, it looks great as well, but the metal does look a tad nicer. Some people did complain that the Blitzway wasn't metal, but it's just such an unrealistic, silly expectation. This thing is so big and so heavy. If they made it in metal, I don't think you'd be able to lift it. It's really that big, and just the size of it makes it awkward to hold. You know, regardless of the weight, it's just so awkward to get your arms around. So there's just no way this could be made in metal, but it still looks great. And but like I said, I think the bodywork metal does look a tad better on this. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at the electronics, and this is one of the areas where they're both bad in certain parts and great in others. There's no real clear winner to this, but anyway, so the to turn the Blitzway on, by the way, I am aware one of those lights is out. There's a switch underneath here which is awkward to get to just because of the reach I've got at the moment, so I've already turned it on. The switch to the Eaglemoss is here, so it's a little bit easier for me to get to, and if we turn it on, some of the lights come on. So there's more. This does more in terms of lighting. These are going to. I'm assuming these are going to be the roof lights. I'm pretty sure they are. I can't remember now off the top of my head. Not really going to review those until we get to installing those. But one thing I do like, and I'm not really going to be able to give you a demonstration because I don't have enough hands to actually demo it. But there are these switches somewhere. And there's 4 of these that go on the doors, and basically when they're all pushed down, these 2 lights are going to be roof lights, and they're going to be off, and then when you open a door they're going to open up. Sorry, when you open a door they're going to light up. The lights are not going to open up, they're going to light up. But there you go. So one complaint people had about the Blitzway is the weird flashing headlights, which is something the Eaglemoss one doesn't have. There's a switch in there, and if we press that you'll see that these come on and they're static. We haven't put any bulbs in here. These light up at the bottom, and looking at it, unless they're going to come out, there's no way of adding bulbs into there, you know, without serious modification. So yeah, so the lights are better. My only, it's a minor thing, is I wish they just come on when you switched it on, rather than having to go in here and you know, press a button. It's only a minor thing. You'll see the back ones come on as well. And one little feature this does have as well is if you push the brake pedal down, you'll see you get the brake light effects. So another thing when it comes to the electronics is actually how it's powered. Now I do think Blitzway did a better job in one regard and a much worse job in another. See, with the batteries, this in a compartment under here, and it's not so bad at the moment, but once you've started putting stuff around, I don't want to be tipping this over. So you've got to bring it to the edge of the table, sort of get underneath. It's a bit cumbersome, but the batteries for the Blitzway is literally, this pulls up, batteries under there, and also under here. But that is what powers all the lights and stuff. I haven't turned those on yet, but the sound is an issue I have with the Blitzway, but also with Eaglemoss. It's a bit confusing. So how do I explain this? So with the Eaglemoss, there's a button in here to turn the so you get the horn. Where is it? There we go. Listen to that. So you see that the siren, it cycles twice and then starts again. It shouldn't. If I turn the Playmobil one on, that's how it should sound. It should go for a lot longer. And I just think I just don't think it's very good. How on earth has Playmobil done a better job than this really expensive model, which is a tad annoying. Now with the Blitzway, this come with an SD card, and the SD card was blank. You had to put the siren on yourself. That's good in one way, as you can add lots of different other sounds. You can add music and stuff, like I've added loads of music and stuff to mine. But the major flaw with the Blitzway one is they basically made this an MP3 player, and it is powered by USB. I don't actually have a USB near where I'm filming this, so or a power socket even, so I can't show you actually working. But it's just silly, because you have to have this wire hanging out and to play any sound, and it's just ridiculous. It just looks silly, takes away from the effects of such a great model, and I just find that ridiculous. So it's like, you know, I think they've done a better job with the sound. I mean, they didn't put sound on it, but it's such an easy thing to fix, you know, by being expected to put your own sounds on. But then putting that USB is just so bad. But then, of course, the sound of the siren on this is terrible. It's annoying. I know people will be able to find modifications. I have seen someone who's actually rerouted all the power in this, so you don't need the USB. But like I said earlier, this video is about comparing them as they come out the factory, not about all the different modifications, because, you know, these things can be modded so greatly. But anyway, that is a little look at the electronics. Like I said, I'm not going to go into these bits at the moment because we've not really got that far. Even though they light up, we've not got that far of installing them and seeing them rotate and stuff. There's no point comparing that yet. Okay, so now we're on to the interior, and I know this is a bit where a lot of people have been disappointed with the Eaglemoss one, because the interior has been lacking a lot of detail. Now I know that's where a lot of mods are going to happen. So as you can see, this is the Blitzway at the moment, and the instruments do light up, which is a really cool in the back. I'm just going to shine a light in there so you can get a really good look at it. And then comparing it to the Eaglemoss one, and the detail just isn't there on the Eaglemoss one, and this one doesn't light up either, but it's just all the little colours on the buttons and things. It's just not there, and yeah, it's just not there on the Eaglemoss one. There you go. And then this part is completely the wrong shape on the Eaglemoss one. There you go, that's just completely wrong. Yeah. So yeah, not very good there. I've seen a few people do 3D prints of the correct shape. So yeah. Now the chairs, I'm 50-50 on the chairs. The chairs on the Eaglemoss are made of like a rubbery material, so they feel nice. But I think they look better on the Blitzway. They look a bit more worn in, but they are hard plastic. I guess that just depends on what you're down to. And then let's just compare the top of the just above the chairs. So it's very awkward to do comparisons just because getting into the Blitzway is very difficult. I thought it's best to do this now whilst we've still got the Eaglemoss one open. But there you go. And then if we look in the front, again the seats, I prefer the Blitzway seats, but that's just me, obviously. I think they look nice and worn in. The dashboard, look at the dashboard. And parts of the dashboard do light up on the Eaglemoss, which is really nice. And of course you do have working features like the glove box opens up on there. But anyway, let's turn the camera off and turn these round so we can have a better look at some of the other parts. So looking in the back of the Ecto, and let's look at these first. And we'll compare it to the Eaglemoss. You'll see the Blitzway just is more detailed and looks nicer. Oh, I thought these looked a little bit cheap, I must admit, when I installed these. There you go, and then we'll look at this side. So there you go. One thing I do prefer on the Eaglemoss on the interior is these screws here. I just think look nice, makes it look a tad more realistic. But I just think overall, the interior and the back certainly, the Blitzway is just miles ahead. I just don't think the Eaglemoss have done a very good job at all with the back interior compared to the rest of the car. Really, they seem to put more effort into the engine. Like the engine on the Eaglemoss was brilliant, greatly detailed, and really I personally would have preferred a more detailed back, because it's not like I'm going to open the bonnet very often to look in the engine, so I'm more likely to look in the back. But I don't know, it is what it is. It's just my opinion. You may completely disagree, and that is fine. We all have different opinions. So finally round to the other side of the Ecto, and and there's not actually anything there. I don't know if that's something we're going to install later. I doubt it, just because there's no holes there to drill anything into. But get a better look at the back of that, and as you can see, you've got loads of wires and stuff under there, and not much under there. So have a look at the back of the there, and then we'll take a look at the driver's side front. Again, it's a shame some of the dashboard doesn't light up like the Eaglemoss, but it is what it is. Taking a look at the steering wheel. We've not installed the steering wheel yet, but there we have a look. The steering wheel is definitely better on the Blitzway version there. Just looks nicer. And again, the seats, I prefer this shrunken, worn-in look personally. But I mean, that doesn't mean to say these are bad. These are great as well. Really good seats. I like the sponginess. I'm not sure if that's the right word, but the feel of them, I guess. But that is all that we can compare really at the moment. As I said at the beginning, don't forget to check out my other video if you've not seen my part 1 on this, where I compared some of the other bits like the engine, the number plate, the wheels, the trim, all that sort of stuff. And let me know what you think. What's your favourite and why? Maybe you like both. Like I said at the beginning, I think they're both great. You know, both have their downsides, their upsides. I just think we're fortunate to be in a world where we have two great models of Ecto 1. So obviously there will be a part 3 to this. I don't know at what point I'll do that. Obviously when there's enough stuff to compare, really. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep on busting.